Welcome everyone, Brian Smith, Inside the Knights, and I have a little bit of information regarding how I feel about Joey Gatewood being now available for UCF and not just a player that's transferring in. There are all kinds of NCAA rules and it wasn't clear if he would be eligible this year. First off, a little background. He played at Bartram Trail, just outside of Jacksonville, Florida. Heavily recruited player, goes to Auburn to play for Gus Malzahn. Does not win the starting quarterback job, transfers to Kentucky. Same thing happened there this year. He did not win the quarterback job. Now he transfers to UCF. What kind of player is Joey? Well, first off, he's 230 pounds and he's slender. And I mean that sincerely. I accidentally ran into him at the Bartram Trail spring game. He was back at his old high school. And he's a great kid, first off. Really nice guy. But he is absolutely built like you would want a big receiver or tight end. He could be a defensive end, outside linebacker, but he's got the mindset of a quarterback. So he's looking for an opportunity long-term to be the guy. Now he's back at UCF in his home state of Florida. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do. With that, a couple of major points here. Beyond being eligible, number one, don't expect him to play right away. First off, he's not been in a fall camp in the sense of he's eligible, I'm going to play. He hasn't gone through the summer conditioning. I'm sure he's training, don't get me wrong. Joey is not with the program that UCF has. College coaches, strength and conditioning coaches, and the players for that matter, there's a line that you draw. Either you have or you have not went through the program with this group of guys. Coaches and players, trainers, the whole 9 yards. Joey probably will not be able to play right away. He's got to learn the playbook and different things. But being at UCF, this is an opportunity for him to quickly get acclimated. Because again, he's played with Gus before. It's not like the playbook completely changed. With that being stated, there's also the point that they're playing a quality opponent this upcoming week. And you don't want any turnovers or any snafus. He's not used to the center. He's not used to the other players around him. The timing with the receivers, even the handoff to the running back. That is not there. So even if he had gotten a little bit of time working out, playing right away is probably not going to happen. Maybe they put him in for like a single play, maybe a decoy or something. I'd be surprised, but that's an option. Beyond that, do not look for him to be in the lineup. Where it gets interesting is week number 2. Bethune-Cookman comes to UCF, and this is a game that UCF schedules just like any other school. It's an extra game. They want home game. They want revenue. There's no big deal playing Bethune-Cookman. It's just the way it is. It's reality. This is how you pay the bills. But that's an opponent that he could get his feet wet. And it's a very important game, not only for Joey, but for UCF. At some point, you have to gauge what he's capable of doing. Can he make the throws? Does he have a rapport, although with the short amount of time, with some of the players that are on the roster at tight end, receiver, running back, and even a feel for how the offensive line pass sets. All of it matters. If it's not very cohesive, greater chance, once again, turnovers, penalties, and just flat out not moving the football. So even if it's just him coming in for a series, for a play, for a package, I'm not saying in any way, shape, or form he's going to replace Dillon Gabriel. He's not. That's not even in the realm of question here for anybody that wonders. But if he's going to play, he's going to have a fit, and they've got to see what he can do. Coach Malzahn mentioned recently at the end of fall camp that they needed to see what they could do. They installed everything, talking about the team in general. Well, that's the same with Gatewood. At some point, practice doesn't matter. You got to hit somebody in a different colored uniform. You got to throw a pass against them, etc. That's the true way you measure a college football team. Joey is the same way. Bethune-Cookman would present that opportunity, and it would be the best one for UCF because there's a very low chance they're going to lose the game, and there's also a high percentage chance to play younger players, some of the different transfers like Armstrong that came in from Kennesaw State, different guys that you just don't know for sure, but you have a good idea based on practice, and you just want to kind of get it over the hump. Joey is somebody that Coach Malzahn and his staff knows, but they need further evidence. If it goes well, big word here, if it goes well, and they play him against Bethune-Cookman, then you have an interesting situation the week thereafter as you go back into a more high-quality opponent. UCF travels to Louisville for its first road game of the season. Now, Louisville is the only FBS school that the Knights will play in the regular season. That being stated, it's not like it's a great team. This is a team that's going to be 7-5 to 9-3. That would be my guess. 9-3 probably the high water mark. They just don't have enough defensive players, in my opinion. But at the same time, they can score in bunches and then go into funks. It's a weird team. If they're hot that day, UCF needs something extra. Maybe Joey gets a chance after performing once again against Bethune-Cookman to play in a series. Maybe he lines up at running back next to a certain Dylan Gabriel. Maybe he does something different than that, and he goes in motion as a receiver, just as a decoy. There are so many different possibilities. With Gus Malzahn's playbook, it's just fun to talk about it. Again, I have no insight on this. I just know that he is eligible. I did find that out. But I don't really know what they're going to do with him short term, long term, in any sense at all. It's just speculation, flat out. There's no way around that. But these are interesting ways that you can do it. Does Joey have the ability to learn a lot of the playbook right away? I don't know. It depends on him, what class load he's taken, and how much he really wants to play that much this year. That's on Joey Gatewood. That's not on Gus Malzahn, the offensive coaching staff, G.J. Kinney, or anybody else on the coaching staff. That's on Joey. But his talent, it's just immense. And he's a kid that could play about 5 or 6 positions from a physical standpoint. No problem. He is an elite athlete, even at the major Division I level. He's a guy, if he walked in right now and it was NFL Combine time, you'd say, yeah, he belongs here. He's not your normal guy. He's 6'4", 230, and lean. He's that well proportioned. So I'm curious if he's going to be a guy that they find a way to get on the field beyond quarterback. That's just my own personal question, just as a football fan. Forget that I cover UCF. How do you get Joey involved beyond just taking a snap, running Wildcat, which we all know at some point he's going to do? How do you get him involved? One of the most creative minds in college football is Gus Malzahn. I'm not going to sit here and say I know the way that's going to happen, because I'm honestly just looking forward to finding out as a natural fan. When I'm sitting in the booth or sitting at home, whatever, and I find out something, I'll be as happy as anybody else, because you have to get the young man involved with the offense. Final point. If UCF is able to get him going, even if it's just with a package, again, I don't care which one it is, this is the interesting part for the opposing defenses. Nothing that an opposing defensive coordinator hates more than a very mobile quarterback. This is why. They like to look at it from a mathematical perspective. My defender goes here, he takes away your piece, that's 1x. Move pieces around. But let's be honest, somebody like Gatewood, who is a true big-time athlete, you're not going to just say, we're going to put 4 guys, keep him in the pocket. That's what most guys try to do as defensive coordinators against the so-called semi-mobile quarterbacks that you'll see in the NFL. Very few are true dual threats, because you got to be more accurate at the NFL level. But when there is a guy like that, drives them bananas. Coordinators at all levels, they are creatures of habit. They do not like change. That change is a 4-letter word to them. With a guy like Gatewood in the game, whether it's him lining up next to Gabriel, taking a shotgun snap directly and just running the football, you can't just account for him with 4 guys up front, dropping your linebackers and doing things that way. You've got to bring more pressures, you have to bring more run blitzes, and you have to account for him sometimes with a safety coming down. A rat in the hole, if you will, from cover 3, cover 2 becomes cover 1, whatever it is, different styles of play. But with that, that means change, that changes their routine, and that changes their practice. That is a big benefit to UCF. Now that I've got off my coaching standpoint here, the thing that you need to know about Joey is he's going to play at some point this year. I will be shocked if he doesn't. Again, just way too athletic, and he has some familiarity. UCF football is going to be better with him long term. Let's see how quickly he can get it done. Joey Gatewood is eligible for UCF, and let's enjoy watching him play.